Welcome to this LWF DTMJ tutorial. This step-by-step video will help you to prepare the Member Church Project's budget template. So let's get started. The Member Church Project's budget format includes 3 sheets: a cover page with a summary, a budget sheet in euros, and a budget sheet in local currency. The process starts with the third sheet, the budget in local currency. First, add the name of your church and the title of your project. This step is important because it helps everyone identify the correct budget quickly and easily. Next, add your currency and the exchange rate. Start by writing the name of your local currency. Then, enter the exchange rate you'll use to convert your local currency to euros. Keep in mind, exchange rates can change. If your country has high inflation or prices might rise, include a margin to cover any unexpected changes. Third, make sure to include the years your project will cover. Now, let's focus on the program costs. Organize your budget by activity, just like in your project proposal. Follow the structure and add a budget line for each activity. To estimate costs, check market prices, ask vendors for quotes, and look at similar past projects for guidance. If you need to, you can break each activity into smaller parts. This adds more detail and helps others understand what you will do and how you will do it. When organizing your budget by activity, make sure you include everything, and use numbers to show the connection between objectives and activities. Don't forget to check your maths. Capital costs are the expenses for buying equipment needed to implement your activities. This includes items like laptops, projectors, or cameras. Capital costs should not exceed 5% of your total project cost. Administration and overhead costs cover the expenses of running your organization and supporting operations. This includes salaries, office rent, travel costs, office supplies, insurance, bank fees, and more. These costs should not exceed 30% of your total budget. Monitoring and evaluation costs include collecting data, writing reports, assessing the project, and expenses for project committee meetings. For projects over €10,000 per year, you must include a budget for an annual audit. If you plan an external evaluation, make sure to budget accordingly. Unforeseen costs represent a small extra fund for unexpected expenses or needs that were not planned for during the project. The template calculates automatically this amount as 5% of the subtotal, which is added to your budget. The total project cost is the sum of program costs, capital costs, administration costs, monitoring and evaluation costs, and unforeseen costs. Always double-check your calculations to make sure the total and subtotals are correct. Now, let us look at the financial plan. This part of the budget shows the money we expect to get for our activities. This part has 3 sections: funds from our own and local sources, funds from other organizations, and funds from LWF. LWF values your local and own contributions. They show your commitment and involvement in the project. An important rule is that your own contribution must be at least 5% of the total funding. The own contribution can be financial or in kind. Make sure to describe these contributions clearly in the financial plan and budget section of your project application. For example, you can contribute to staff time, venues, meeting spaces, equipment, or vehicles. Remember, projects without any own contribution will not be accepted. Third-party contributions. Here, you can list any funds you asked for or received from other donors. Write the names of the organizations, like other churches, NGOs, government offices, church groups, ecumenical organizations, or private donors, and their amounts. In the financial plan and budget section of your project application, explain if the funding is for specific costs. Also, mention the status of your request, whether it is pending, approved, or something else. This contribution is not an obligation. The amount you request from LWF is calculated automatically. We take the total cost of your project and subtract your own funds and any funds from other donors. Please respect the funding limits mentioned in the call for applications. Remember, funds are limited and many projects have to adjust their budget to available funds. The total income includes your own funds, funds from other donors, and LWF funds. Always double-check your calculations to make sure your total income matches your total costs. When you complete Sheet 3, the rest of the budget will update on its own. The amounts in euros are calculated by multiplying the local currency amount by the exchange rate and then rounding to the nearest hundred. If you have made any changes to Sheet 3, check that Sheet 2 still matches. Some formulas might stop working. Finally, make sure the cover page shows all your budgeted costs and income correctly. Thank you for watching.